What is going on YouTube? This is LA Prepper. We're going to talk a little bit about robots here and their impact on the economy. I've talked about this a few times before, but this article had a few stats that caught my eye, so I'm going to go ahead and mention it real quick. Moving forward, because it's a little bit easier for me to put the links in my discussion than it is to put them in the video description, because I kind of record the video and then I want to put it on my phone and just let it go. I don't want to be messing with this link goes in that video and this link goes in that video, etc., etc. So what I'm going to be doing is putting the links in my discussion page. I want to get a little bit more activity here. So if you ever see something that I'm talking about that's an article, try to check out the discussion page on my channel, and that should have some of the links about stuff that's going on. So back to the article. Robots could steal... Oh, sorry, this is not the... This is the old article that they referenced. This is the one I wanted to pick up on. Cleaning, servicing, policing, is the robotic revolution taking U.S. jobs? Good question. Well, we know for a fact that it is, and we know for a fact that it's going to continue. Look at this. She's taking a selfie with the robot. Little does she realize this type of technology is going to replace her in the future, but she's not thinking about that. Poor thing, she's just thinking about how cute this this pic's gonna look on her Instagram. Anyways, so what is going on? Why am I bringing up this article? Well, mainly because of this one little blip here, okay? This one little blip here. Talking about McDonald's has also enlisted some high-tech help. Last year, the food chain was made faster by reducing labor costs when they rolled out digital ordering kiosks in 2,500 of their 14,000 stores. Okay? Just think about that for a second. Don't read ahead. Let's see how many that was. 25 out of 1,400. It's like a fifth, right? Or a little less than a fifth. Yeah, 0.178. So 18% of their stores, what did it say? Last year. So if we're in 2018, that's 2017, 17% of their stores had a robot that would take your order instead of human being. So now they don't necessarily fire a bunch of people at all those stores. They might not be hiring people at all those stores, but that's 17% of McDonald's, where one of the very, very simple jobs, taking someone's order, it's not that hard, has been completely automated for a percentage of the workers. Now you might think, well, they're never going to roll out full kiosks, or I don't work at McDonald's, so I'm not worried about that. But let's read down a little further. They plan on having every branch using the system by 2020. I'm going to say that one more time. They plan on having every branch using the system by 2020. That's 2 years away, or 2 3/4 years, or 2 years and 10 months, right? Every single store. Every single store. Now, what is this going to do? Now, keep in mind, capitalism, and whether or not your kid who's graduating from high school, the financial situation of capitalism and the financial situation of your kid who just graduated from high school are not necessarily connected. I'm going to say that again. Young people on the lower end of the socioeconomic class, their financial future is not necessarily related to what the Dow Jones Industrial Complex is doing. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, McDonald's is going to see increased profit from this move. Why? Is it because their employees are all retarded? No. Because robots are cheaper than humans. You can't beat that fact. I don't even need to lecture on that, because that's kind of plain and simple. In the long run, for relatively simple jobs like ordering food, robots are more inexpensive than human beings. So what does this mean? Well, in fact, I would even hazard a guess McDonald's is doing well right now in the Dow Jones. MCD stock. Well, 1% down is not too bad, but the whole market got a little bit funny about this whole... wow, they've actually been having some tough times. The market got a little funny. So, they've been doing well. January 26th, they actually had their peak. And I don't know if people are eating healthy these days or what, but their stock price went from 178 to 155. So, when did this article come out? In fact, I wonder when McDonald's is rolling this out. Let's see when McDonald's announced this. Let's do some digging here. McDonald's kiosks something, right? They're not a labor replacement. They provide an opportunity to transition to back of the house positions. Oh my God, what a joke. Here we go. June 20th. McDonald's hits all-time high as Wall Street cheers replacement of cashiers with kiosks. Thank you, CNBC, for making my point. Thank you. Price target for shares outperformed the market. Price target from 182 from 142. Okay. So back in June, this was the highest their stock had ever been. They told investors they're going to put some kiosks in. They're doing better. I don't know what happened on January 26th. Something happened. But the point is, this is what happens this is what the 1% talk about when they discuss robots replacing people's jobs. They're not taking selfies with robots. What they're doing... Oh, come on, computer. Oh, are you kidding me right now? Please don't. What is giving me a freaking headache right now? Too much flash going on. Too much of this autoplay bullshit. Anyways, when McDonald's is talking about hiring these people, Wall Street cheers. So what does Wall Street do when McDonald's says they're going to replace all the ordering services with kiosks? Wall Street cheers again. Now, what does this mean for the economy? Well, what happens when McDonald's stock goes up because they've been increasing profit by reducing their overhead being labor? Well, then Wendy's starts talking about it. Then Jack in the Box starts talking about it. And KFC and, and on and on and on. And what happens to Wall Street? Wall Street cheers. Wall Street says, yay, this is great. More profits, more income, higher stock prices. Maybe you're getting dividends. Maybe they'll increase the dividend payments. But for the younger people and people that are actually relying on that type of work to pay their bills, they're screwed, right? Now, I'm not a Luddite. I understand technology is going to be moving quickly and coming at us exponentially. But the thing is, I don't think our system of government can move fast enough to outpace the changes in technology. There's no, even if you told, I'm sure there's plenty of people in government who understand that this is going to mean more people on food stamps, less people buying homes, less people with money, or less, the lower echelons of society are going to be struggling with this. Me, the engineering student, am I affected by automated kiosks? Well, not in the sense that it's going to replace my job working at McDonald's, but it does have an effect on the overall economy. Every single branch by 2020. So just take this idea and say, what if it was every fast food place? What if it was every restaurant? What if it was every retail store? What if it was every car? California just approved autonomous vehicles on the road. What if it was every FedEx truck, every mail truck, every driving truck, every taxi, every bus, every plane, every train, and on and on and on, right? Now, we already have computers that can land planes, but we put people in the cockpit because we like people to be flying planes instead of robots. So what's the point of all this? Should we give up? Should we be like the Terminator and go try to stop it before it all begins? I don't know about that. And this article goes on later to talk about how 40% of jobs are expected to be automated in 15 years. I mean, even if it's 20% of jobs, if 1 out of every 5 jobs goes to a robot in the next 15 years, that's not good. That is not good. Now, is it good for humanity? Perhaps. I don't think it's very rewarding for an individual to work at McDonald's taking someone's order, for example. But the problem is we live in a society where we all have bills to pay. If there was a way to live and be homeless and not get, arrested for sleeping on the sidewalk, perhaps more people would be following their dreams and, chasing what they're really passionate about in life. But unfortunately, living in this country is very expensive, not just in California, but in general. Rent and bills, having a home, having an apartment is a costly endeavor. So even though working to live is not necessarily my favorite method of society, it's the model that we have now. It's been working somewhat effectively in the meantime. But something's got to give, right? Something has got to give. We are going to have some baby boomers retiring in big numbers, but the difficulty in the economy is even affecting them because they're working later and later. 10, 20 years ago, baby boomers might actually retire when they're 50 or 60, right? But now they're working until they're 60, 70, 80, even older. So all these easy, low-skilled jobs, people are fighting for them tooth and nail because they have bills to pay. They don't want to end up like the 50,000 homeless in Los Angeles or like the homeless guy in San Diego getting thrown in the back of a garbage truck, right? So I know robots taking over jobs is not, completely related to prepping, but one of the reasons preppers prep is because uncertainty in the future. And while we can't exactly be sure when the robots are going to start taking all our jobs, maybe we can. By 2020, every single McDonald's is going to have self-ordering kiosks. Maybe by 2025, all fast food restaurants are going to have self-ordering kiosks. Maybe by 2030, all the taxis are going to be driven by robots. I mean, probably not. There's always going to be a human that needs to get a job, unless they make it illegal for humans to drive taxis. That would be a disaster. But we need to start thinking about alternate ways of living. That's why homesteading makes such good sense, because you don't want to be relying on work for your livelihood when these robots and computers and software and AI and all this stuff is getting exponentially more advanced. It just is, At some point in the future, AI is going to be able to do engineering work at a very high level. I don't even doubt it. AI is going to be infinitely smarter than a human being and have sufficiently larger reasoning capabilities. So, God forbid they ever get in control of anything, because an AI, theoretically, if it started to learn, if it could learn how to hack and learn how to control stuff and had an idea of what it wanted to do with the world, it probably wouldn't go well. I don't know if it's going to turn into Skynet, but funny things would certainly happen. Right? So, let me know what you think. Is your job safe from automation? Is your retirement safe from automation? You might have funds in a mutual fund or the stock market. But you know what's trading the stock market these days? These guys. Robots are making millions and billions of trades every second. And if they all want to buy a bunch of stuff, they all buy a bunch of stuff. And if they all feel like selling a bunch of stuff, they all sell a bunch of stuff. They all act like lemmings. You know, I would rather have my investment in land, in hard assets, in things that produce income. I would rather put $5,000 into buying 500 fruit trees than put $5,000 into the stock market. Because I know whether or not the power's on, people need to eat. You can't eat a stock. And if the power's off, you sure as hell can't sell a stock. And if the power stays off, well, there goes your wealth, right? But my apple trees aren't going to vanish overnight. Now, yeah, if there's a flood or a terrible something or a nuclear disaster, yeah, my apple trees are screwed. But we're all kind of screwed if a nuclear war breaks out anyway. So, you know, there's that. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about automation and what its effect on the economy is going to be. Until then, see you next time and keep prepping.